There are moments in a man's life when strength is not measured by the weight he can lift, the battles he can fight, or the wealth he can build. It is measured by his ability to connect, to lead, and to embody confidence in the most intimate of places, behind closed doors, in the sanctuary of the bedroom. For centuries, men have pursued power in the outside world, kingdoms, empires, fortunes. Yet one of the greatest powers a man can hold is not forged on the battlefield or the marketplace. It is forged in silence, in closeness, in the ability to master himself, to understand desire, and to awaken connection with a woman at the deepest level. This is not about tricks or shallow tactics. This is about mastery. Mastery of body, mind, and energy. Mastery that transforms a man from ordinary into unforgettable. Every man who listens to this must understand. Your presence in the bedroom is not just physical. It is psychological, emotional, and spiritual. When you master these 7 techniques, you do more than satisfy. You inspire, you connect, and you create an experience that lingers far beyond the night. Let us begin. The first technique is presence. In a world of distraction, presence is rare. A man who is fully present in the bedroom is a man who listens with his body, who pays attention to every detail, her breath, her movements, her silence. Doctors and psychologists alike agree that intimacy is built not only from physical skill, but from the ability to create safety. Presence tells her, "You are here, now with me, and nothing else matters." Presence is powerful because it shows discipline. The same discipline a monk cultivates in meditation, a man must bring into intimacy. Without presence, every other technique falls apart. With presence, even simple gestures become unforgettable. The second technique is rhythm and patience. Many men are taught that speed, force, and conquest define masculinity. But true mastery is found in rhythm, in learning the language of her body and leading with patience. Experts in sexual health often describe intimacy as a dance. When you force the rhythm, the connection breaks. When you flow with patience, trust deepens. The male body may seek quick release, but mastery is the art of delay. Patience is not weakness, it is control, and control is power. A man who can extend, who can hold, who can guide with rhythm, builds anticipation. And anticipation is what makes desire burn longer, stronger, deeper. The third technique is strength and stamina. Not just the strength of muscle, but the strength of energy. Fitness experts explain that blood flow, cardiovascular health, and flexibility all play critical roles in male performance. A man who trains his body not only builds muscle for the world to see, but stamina for the bedroom that only she will know. Jogging, lifting, yoga, breathing exercises, they are not just routines of discipline. They are investments in energy that can be sustained when it matters most. The ancient warriors trained for battle. The modern man must train for intimacy, because stamina is the difference between a fleeting moment and an unforgettable night. The fourth technique is communication beyond words. Most men believe communication is talking, explaining, asking. But in intimacy, the deepest communication is silent. Eye contact, touch, breath, a gentle pause at the right moment. Psychology shows us that over 70% of communication is nonverbal, and in the bedroom, this percentage is even higher. When you master silent communication, you build trust without speaking. You create a bond that does not need explanation. This requires courage, the courage to be vulnerable, the courage to look into her eyes without breaking away, the courage to let silence speak. A man who communicates with his presence creates an atmosphere where she feels understood without words. The fifth technique is variation and creativity. The mind craves novelty. Neuroscience tells us that dopamine, the chemical of desire, thrives on variety. A man who repeats the same patterns becomes predictable, and predictability kills passion. Variation is not about complexity or tricks. It is about awareness, changing pace, shifting energy, blending tenderness with intensity. Creativity means understanding that intimacy is not a straight path, but a landscape of discovery. When a man brings creativity into the bedroom, he keeps the fire alive. And fire, once lit, becomes difficult to extinguish. The sixth technique is breathing and control. The breath is the bridge between body and mind. In yoga, in meditation, in martial arts, breath is the secret weapon. In intimacy, it is no different. Most men breathe shallow, fast, uncontrolled. But a man who controls his breath controls his energy. He can slow time. He can hold back the rush. He can last longer, connect deeper, and guide not only himself, but his partner. Doctors confirm that controlled breathing lowers stress, increases blood flow, and enhances stamina. Breathing is life, and in the bedroom it is the foundation of control. The seventh technique is emotional depth. Beyond presence, beyond strength, beyond skill. What lingers in memory is emotional connection. Women do not remember the man who only performed. They remember the man who made them feel seen, feel desired, feel cherished. Emotional depth does not mean weakness. It means courage to bring your full self, your heart, into the moment. A man who connects emotionally transforms intimacy into something eternal. For men between 20 and 100, emotional depth is the bridge across generations. The young may bring passion, the mature may bring wisdom, but the man who brings emotion leaves a legacy. These 7 techniques are not separate. They are one. They form a circle of mastery. Presence creates safety. Rhythm builds trust. Stamina sustains passion. Silent communication deepens the bond. Creativity keeps desire alive. Breathing gives control. And emotional depth transforms the moment into memory. But to master these, a man must live with discipline. Nutrition matters. Doctors emphasize foods rich in zinc, magnesium, and omega-3s for hormone health. Fitness matters. Strength training, cardio, and flexibility sharpen the body. Psychology matters. Learning to manage stress, to control anxiety, to stay grounded in self-confidence is the foundation of intimacy. Every choice a man makes outside the bedroom shapes who he becomes inside it. The man who neglects his health, his habits, his mindset, cannot expect mastery in the moments that matter most. Understand this truth. Intimacy is a reflection of life. If you are restless in the world, you will be restless in the bedroom. If you are patient in the world, you will be patient with her. If you are disciplined in your body, your stamina will show. If you are calm in your breath, you will hold control when others collapse. And if you are deep in your emotions, you will be unforgettable in her heart. Think of the journey of a man's life. At 20, he is driven by raw energy and hunger, but lacks patience. At 40, he has learned control, but must sustain his vitality. At 60, wisdom outweighs speed, and emotional depth becomes his greatest strength. Even at 80 or 100, intimacy does not vanish. It transforms. It becomes softer, slower, deeper. The techniques remain the same, but the expression evolves. This is the beauty of mastery. It adapts to age, but never fades. In history, men have built empires, written books, fought wars, but many have failed to master the one realm that matters most, themselves. To master the bedroom is not just to please a woman. It is to understand discipline, control, connection, and presence at the highest level. These 7 techniques are not just for intimacy. They are principles of power, reflections of character, symbols of manhood. So, remember this. A man is not judged by how quickly he conquers, but by how deeply he connects. Not by how much he takes, but by how much he gives through his presence, his control, his depth. The world may never see what you do behind closed doors, but the woman who stands beside you, who trusts you, who remembers you, she will know. And her memory of you will not be of wealth or status, but of the experience you created. Master these 7 techniques, and you master more than intimacy. You master yourself. You master the art of being a man not just in body but in soul. For true strength is not only measured by the battles you win in the world, but by the peace and fire you create in the heart of another. And when you leave this world, your legacy will not only be carved in stone, but in the memory of how deeply, how passionately, how powerfully you lived and loved.